I forgot to warn my son that the camera went back to work. When I watched the images, I froze. My name is Roberto. I'm 58 years old, and at that moment, I was sitting alone in my room at 2 in the morning with the remote control tremendously in my hand. The television screen showed the security camera recording I had installed at the entrance of my house. A camera that had been defective 3 weeks ago, and my neighbor, his Antonio electronics technician, had managed to fix yesterday afternoon. I was checking if she was working properly when I saw it, and what I saw made me question everything I thought I knew about my own family. On the screen, at the date and time they showed it was last Tuesday at 2:30 p.m., I saw my daughter-in-law Amanda entering the house, but that was not what shocked me. What made me freeze was to see who came in with her. It was Marcos, my youngest son, 25 years old, and they didn't come in as a father, in-law and daughter-in-law. They entered hand in hand, kissing on the mouth as she laughed at the way I knew so well, the same way she laughed when she was happy with me. Amanda has been my wife for 8 years. We got married when she was 24 and I 50. Yes, a big difference of age, but our love has always been true. At least that's what I thought. She entered my life after my first wife, Conceição, died of cancer. Amanda brought light back to my house, affection to my children, Marcos and Julia, who at the time were 17 and 22 years old. But there, on that cold television screen, I was seeing my wife cheating on me, and not with anyone, with my own son. I passed the video again, and once again. Each time I saw, my stomach rapped more. They entered laughing. He carried her on his lap to the door. She ran his hand on his chest in a way that was too intimate for a daughter-in-law and a stepson. I stayed there until 5 in the morning, watching the other recordings that the system had automatically recovered, and what I saw destroyed me inside. It was not the first time. There were other dates, other times, whenever I was working on the work, whenever I wasn't at home. When the son was born, I was still sitting in that old armchair that my late wife Conceição had chosen 15 years ago. My head hurt, my eyes burned, but the chest pain was infinitely worse, because it was not just a betrayal. It was the betrayal of the two people I trusted most in the world. I heard the noise of the key in the lock. Amanda was coming from the duty at the hospital where she works as a nurse. I turned off the television quickly and pretended to be sleeping in the armchair. "Love, did you sleep here in the room again?" she said with that sweet voice I loved so much. The same voice that, in the recordings, whispered affectionate words to my son. "Oh, hi. I ended up whispering right here," I answered, trying to sound normal, but my voice came out more hoarse than I would like. She approached and kissed my forehead, the same kiss she gave Mark in the recording. "Are you okay? It looks a little deducted." How would I explain to her that I was downcast because I found out that my whole life was a lie? "Just a little tired of work, my love. You know how it is. This work is pulled." I have been a bricklayer for over 30 years. I started as a teenager to help my mother support the house after my father abandoned us. I never had a study, I never had money left, but I always had dignity. I was always an honest, hard-working man who put his family first. I sacrificed my youth to create Mark and Julia after Conceição died. I worked in 2 jobs for years to go to college for both of them. Marcos graduated in administration, Julia in pedagogy. I was proud of my children, proud to have given them what I never had, study and opportunities. And now I found that one of them was cheating on the most cruel way possible. "I'm going to take a shower and rest just before Marcos arrived for lunch," Amanda said, climbing the stairs. Marcos came to have lunch at home every Sunday. It was a tradition of ours. Julia lived in another city, so it was always me, Amanda, and Marcos. Our Sunday in family. What a bitter joke. When I heard the shower on, I turned on the television again and went back to the recordings. I needed to be sure. I needed to understand when it started, how it started, and that's when I saw the most painful recording of all. It was 2 weeks ago. Marcos and Amanda were talking on the porch. She couldn't hear what they said, but I saw when he held her hands and said something that made her cry. But it was not a cry of sadness. It was a cry of emotion, of happiness. And when he dried her tears and kissed her, I knew it wasn't just an adventure. They were in love. The son I raised, which I loved, that I sacrificed my youth to give a better future. I was in love with my wife, and she for him. At 1:30 I heard the bell. It was Marcos. "Hi, Dad. How are you?" he said, hugging me with that wide smile he has always had since he was a child. "I'm fine, son. You who look excited today. Ah, you know how it is. Life is good. Work is doing well. I have plans for the future. Plans for the future. What plans were these? Run away with my wife? Abandon me here like my father did me? During lunch, I watched every look between them, each smile, each word. How could I be so blind? The signs were all there. The way she served the food for him first, how he praised everything she did, how they laughed at the same jokes. "Dad, you are very quiet today. Mark said. It's just that I'm thinking of some things, son. What kind of things? About confidence, about family, how sometimes the people we love most are the ones who hurt us the most. I saw Amanda choke a little with the juice. Marcos was serious. Dad, did anything happen? No, son. It's just a reflection of an old man. But inside I was screaming. I was shouting that I wanted to shake both and ask how they could do this to me, how they could destroy our family like that. After Marcos left, Amanda came to sit next to me on the couch. Roberto, I feel you are weird. What's going on? I looked at her. For this woman I loved so much that I thought I loved me too. His brown eyes, his curly hair, his smile that always calmed my heart. All this now seemed false. Amanda, can I ask you a question? Of course, love. Do you really love me? She seemed surprised by the question. How can you ask that? Of course I love you. Why are you asking that? It's just that sometimes I wonder if you haven't married me for pity, you know? I'm much older than you. I don't have a study. I'm just a bricklayer. Roberto Silva, stop that right now, she said, angry. I married you because I love you. Because you are the most honest and hardworking man I know. Because you made me feel safe and loved when I needed it most. What a perfect actress. Looking in my eyes and lying with such conviction. And Marcos? Do you like him as a stepson? This time I saw her stutter for a second before answering. Of course I like. Marcos is a wonderful boy. You created it very well. It's really? Because sometimes I have the impression that you two have been very close lately. The silence that followed was deafening. Amanda raised from the couch. Roberto, I don't know what you're hinting, but I don't like the tone of this conversation. I'm going to the room. And he climbed the stairs, leaving me alone in the room with my pain and my anger. That night, while she slept beside me, I was awakened, thinking of everything I had built in life. My house, which I bought brick by brick with the sweat of my work. My family, which I thought was united and happy. My dignity of a working and honest man. All of this was crumbling. Worst of all, I didn't know what to do with this information. How to confront, how to act. Like a simple man, like I deal with such a betrayal. The next morning, Monday, I was drinking coffee when Amanda descended tidy to go to work. Good morning, love. Did you sleep well? I slept, yes, Lee. I'm going to arrive a little later today. I'll pass the market after work to buy some things. Market, or meet with Marcos. Now I doubted everything she told me. Okay, honey, I love you. I love you too, she replied, kissing me before leaving. One more lie. I was alone at home, drinking my bitter black coffee, just as my life was at that moment. I grabbed the phone and called the masterpiece, warning that I was going a little later because I wasn't feeling well. It wasn't a lie. I really wasn't well. I turned on the television and returned to the security camera recordings. I needed to see everything. I needed to understand when my life had turned this lie. And that's when I found the recording that changed everything. It was 3 months ago. Marcos was talking to Amanda in the kitchen. By the movement of the lips, I was able to understand some words, and what I saw made me realize that the situation was much worse than I imagined. They were not just cheating on me. They were planning something that involved my house, my money, and the phone rang, interrupting my thoughts. It was Marcos. Hi, Dad. How are you? Everything, son. What is it? I need to talk to you about something important. Can I go there this afternoon? My heart accelerated. Would they tell me the truth, or was it part of the plan I had seen in the recording? Yes, son. What time do you come? About 5 hours. It's about my future, PAI, and about some changes that will happen in our family. Changes in our family. After watching that recording 3 months ago, I had a very clear idea of what these changes could be. And they were not good changes to me. 5 in the afternoon arrived as a death sentence. I was sitting on the porch pretending to read an old newspaper when I saw Marcos's car parking in front of the house. My heart was hitting so hard that I thought he was going to hear when I got out of the car. Hi, Dad. Can I come in? Of course, son. Your house is here too. What a irony. He was literally making my house to his house, with my own wife. We entered the room and he sat in the same armchair where I had spent the dawn discovering his betrayal. Amanda was not at home. She had sent a message saying she was going to work later at the hospital, or at least that's what she said. Dad, I need to talk to you about something very important. Speak, son. I'm listening. Marcos took a deep breath, as if preparing for something difficult. Dad, I'm in love. My blood froze. Was he telling me about Amanda? After all you did, you still had the courage to sit in front of me and tell me that I was in love with my wife? Oh, is it? And for whom? I asked, trying to keep my voice firm. For an amazing woman, Father. A woman who makes me want to be a better person. He was talking about Amanda, of the woman who was my wife. And this woman, does she love you too? Yes, Father. She loves. And we want to be together. The silence that followed was deafening. Marcos looked at me with expectation, as if I expected me to be happy for the news. And what do you expect from me, son? Your blessing, Father. Your understanding. I know it may seem complicated at first, but complicated? I exploded. Complicated? Marcos was startled by my scream. Dad, let me explain better. You don't have to explain anything, Mark. I understood perfectly. I got up from the armchair and started walking around the room. My head was boiling. How did he have the courage to sit here and ask me to be blessed to steal my wife? Dad, please try to understand. Love happens. We don't choose. Love happens? I shouted again. Are you talking about love? Dad, I know you should be confused, but… Confused? I'm not confused, Marcos. I'm betrayed. That's when I realized that he seemed genuinely surprised by my reaction. Father, what are you talking about? What am I talking about? You come here at my house, tell me that you are in love with my wife, and still ask what I'm talking about? Marcos went white as paper. Dad, what are you talking about? What is this story of Amanda? Stop with this clowning, Marcos. I saw you two. See us two where? Doing what? The confusion on his face seemed real. Was it all theater? In the security camera, Marcos. I saw you entering together at home, kissing, hugging. And Marcos raised from the armchair with a total shock expression. Father, did you go crazy? Amanda? Your wife Amanda? Father, for the sake of God, what a disgust. What a disgust. So why were you kissing at home? Dad, I never kissed Amanda. What's this story? I stood looking at his face. Either Marcos was the best actor in the world or… So who is the woman you are in love with? Dad, it's Fernanda. Dona Josefa's daughter, our neighbor on the side. I felt like the floor was disappeared under my feet. Fernanda? Dad, Fernanda is 28 years old, is divorced, has a little daughter. We have been dating for 4 months. I brought her here several times when you were not. I thought you knew. My God. Fernanda was blonde, at the same time as Amanda, wore her hair the same way. In the camera recording from afar in the late afternoon. Dad, are you okay? You look like you saw a ghost. I saw a ghost. The ghost of my own paranoia destroying my family. Marcos, I'm sorry, son. I thought… Dad, sit here. You're very pale. I sat in the armchair with my legs. How could I be so stupid? How could I confuse Fernanda with Amanda? How could I accuse my own son of such a thing? Father, where did this crazy idea come from? I saw in the camera images. I thought it was Amanda. You looked very much from far. Dad, Amanda is your wife. How can you think of such a thing? And me? The shame I felt at that moment was overwhelming. I had spent 2 days hating my son and my wife because of a stupid confusion. Marcos, forgive me, son. I had a very confused head. Dad, it's okay. But explain one thing to me. Why did you have this distrust? Something happened? How would I explain that it was just my insecurity speaking louder? How I was going to say that sometimes I felt inferior for being older, less studied. It's just that sometimes I get insecure, son. Amanda is new, beautiful, intelligent, and I'm just an old bricklayer. Marco sat next to me and put his hand on my shoulder. Dad, to that, Amanda loves you. Anyone who looks at you together sees it, and you are not just a bricklayer. You are the most hardworking and honest man I know. The tears began to get down from my face. Tears of relief, shame, gratitude. Forgive me, son. Forgive me for thinking these horrible things. It's already forgiven, Father. But promises something to me? Whatever it is. Talk to Amanda. Tell her how you are feeling. You need to have this conversation. I promised I was going to talk. But before, I needed to review those most careful recordings. I needed to make sure I had really confused Fernanda with Amanda. After Marcos left, he hugged me tight and said he loved me. I climbed to the room and turned on the camera system in the notebook. I wanted to see the images again, now knowing that it was Fernanda, not Amanda. And that's when everything changed again. Because when I reviewed the recordings more carefully, I realized that I had seen 2 different women in the images. One was really Fernanda, blonde lower who came in with Marcos and that I had confused with Amanda. But there were other recordings where I was really Amanda, entering another man. Only it wasn't Marcos. It was someone I knew very well, someone I trusted completely. My heart fired again as I passed the images. There was Amanda, at the door of my house, kissing passionately a man who wasn't me, a man who had been in my life for over 10 years. Dr. Carlos, my doctor, the man who took care of my health, who knew my problems, my pains, my fears, the married man, father of family, respected in the neighborhood. In the recordings, they didn't seem to be just meeting. They looked intimate for a long time. The way he touched her, how she laughed at him, how they looked at each other. I returned to the recording 3 months ago that I had intrigued me before. Now seeing clearly, I was able to read Amanda's lips in a part of the conversation. She was saying, "He can't suspect anything until you finish transferring everything." Transfer what? And Dr. Carlos answered something that I could not understand completely, but one word became clear. Inheritance. Heritage? What inheritance? I went to the closet where I kept my important documents. Everything seemed in place, but I took my will, the will that Dr. Carlos had helped me do 2 years ago, when I found out I had high blood pressure, and he said it was important for me to get everything organized if something happened. Reading the document, I remembered that Amanda would inherit the house and everything I had if I died. It was natural. She was my wife. But why were they talking about inheritance as if I was already dead? I went back to the notebook and searched for newer recordings. There was one week ago that caught my attention. Amanda and Dr. Carlos were on the porch talking softly. This time I could understand more about the conversation reading the lips. "How long yet?" Amanda asked. "With the dose I'm giving a maximum of 6 months," he answered. "And won't he suspect?" "No. He thinks it's the pressure medicines. He'll never imagine." My blood froze. Dose? What dose? What medicines? I ran to the bathroom and took the medicines that Dr. Carlos had prescribed to my high blood pressure 3 months ago. Remedies he said I should take religiously every day, twice a day. I looked at the drug name in the box and ran to the notebook. I searched the internet, and what I found made me almost faint. What Dr. Carlos was giving me was not a medicine for high blood pressure. It was a medicine that in high and prolonged doses caused heart problems. Problems that could lead to death and would seem natural in a 58-year-old man with a history of high blood pressure. They were not just cheating on me. They were killing me. Amanda and Dr. Carlos had a plan to slowly murder me and keep my inheritance. And I, like an idiot, was taking the poison religiously every day, thinking I was taking care of my health. I sat on the bed, looking at the pills in my hand. How many had I taken? How much damage had already caused to my heart? How long did I still have life? That's when I heard the key at the door. Amanda was coming from the duty. I quickly hid the notebook, stored the tablets, and went down the stairs trying to look normal. But my head was exploding with the discovery. "Hi, love. Do you dinner?" she said, kissing me on the cheek as she always did, the same kiss she gave in Dr. Carlos on the recordings. "Not yet, honey. I was waiting for you." "Ah, how cute. I warm up for both of us." As she moved in the kitchen, I kept watching every movement of her. How could she act so naturally? How could I look into my eyes and pretend I loved me while I was poisoning me? "Roberto, did you take the medicine today?" "Yes, I took my love." Lied. "Good. Dr. Carlos said it is very important that you are not missing any day." "Of course," I said. He needed me to take the venom religiously. "Amanda, can I ask you a question?" "Of course, love. Are you happy with me? With our wedding?" She stopped moving the food and looked at me with surprise. "Why are you asking this again? Yesterday you already asked the same question." Is I thinking, "Don't you feel stuck to an older man like me?" "Roberto, stop it. I already told you that I love you." What a perfect liar. What if something happened to me? If I died, would you be okay? This time I saw her swallow before answering. "Don't say such a thing. You'll live a lot yet. But if it happened, would you redo your life?" "Roberto, please, let's change the subject. I don't like to talk about death." Of course I didn't like it. She didn't want me to suspect her plan. We dinner in silence. I observed every expression of her face, every word, every gesture. Everything now had a different meaning. Each "I love you" was a lie. Each kiss was fake. Each "take the medicine" was an attempt to murder. That night when she slept, I took the notebook and saw more recordings. There was one 2 days ago that showed Dr. Carlos entering the house when I was working. They were not just lovers. They were partners in the crime. In the recording, he delivered a new pill card to Amanda and said something I could understand. I increased the dose. With that, it's just 2 months. 2 months. They were accelerating the process. Why? Did they suspect I could discover something? I looked at Amanda sleeping beside me. This woman I loved so much, for whom I had worked so much to give a good life, was planning my death with another man. And I didn't even know how long it was happening. I got up slowly, went to the bathroom, and threw all the pills into the toilet. Then I went back to bed, but couldn't sleep. I stay all night thinking about what to do, how to prove what they were doing, how to denounce without looking crazy. Who was going to believe that a respected doctor was poisoning a patient to stay with his wife? When the son was born, I had made a decision. It was not going to die without fighting. I wouldn't let them go unpunished, but it could not act on impulse either. I needed evidence, I needed help, and especially, I needed to find out how long they had been drugging me and if there was still time to save my life. Because one thing I knew, if they thought I was just an old ignorant bricklayer who was going to die quietly to make their plans easier, they were very wrong. Amanda woke up and gave me good morning with that usual fake smile. "Good morning, love. Did you sleep well?" "I slept great, honey," I lied. "By the way, I think I even improved the pressure. I'm feeling much better with the medicines that Dr. Carlos prescribed." I saw your eyes shine with sinister satisfaction. "Good, love. He's an excellent doctor. You're in good hands. In good hands to die." Even Amanda, I was thinking of making an appointment with him this afternoon. I wanted to thank for the care and may have some routine tests. This time I saw panic quickly pass through her eyes. "Ah, today? But why has no hurry? You don't have an appointment for next month? It's just that I'm feeling so well that I wanted to talk to him personally, and maybe you both can explain to me exactly how these medicines are doing me so well. The silence that followed was revealing. Amanda knew I was suspicious of something, but she didn't know how much I had already discovered, and I couldn't imagine what I was planning to do with this information. That morning when Amanda went out to work, I had a plan. I couldn't confront them directly yet. I needed concrete evidence that no one could question, but I couldn't waste time either, because with each passing day my heart was more poisoned. First I called the work saying I was sick. It wasn't a lie. I was really sick, but because of the poison my own wife was giving me. Then I went to Dr. Carlos's office, not for an appointment, but to observe. I arrived there at 9 in the morning and stayed across the street sitting on a square bench, pretending to read newspaper. At 10:30 I saw Amanda arriving at the office. Amanda, who should be working at the hospital. My blood boiled. She had lying to me about where she was going, and now I was going to find out what they were planning. I waited an hour. When Amanda left the office, she was not with the face of who was in a medical appointment. She had the face of those who had just found her lover. I returned home before her and called the hospital where she worked. Hello. Good afternoon. I would like to talk to Nurse Amanda Silva, please. A moment. Sir, Amanda is not working today. She has asked for clearance for personal reasons. Personal motives. Of course, her personal reasons were to plan my death with her medical lover. When Amanda came home at 2 in the afternoon, I was in the living room watching television. Hi, love. How was your day at work? It was running but quiet. She lied without even blinking. Okay, honey. I even called the hospital early to find out if you could leave early today, but they said you weren't working. I saw the blood disappeared from her face for a second. I changed on duty with Carla. I worked at dawn and left early in the morning. Lie on top of a lie. I understand. And you did something in the morning? After you left the hospital? No, I came straight home and slept a little. Good. Because I thought about going through Dr. Carlos's office this afternoon. I wanted to mark those exams we talked yesterday. This time her reaction was more visible. She choked on the water she was drinking. Today? But why don't you care to score? You don't have to go there. It's just that I wanted to talk to him personally. Enjoy and bring those questions about the medicines. What doubts, Roberto? Oh, I have been researching the internet about the medicines he prescribed and found some strange information. The panic in her eyes was total. Roberto, you can't go out searching for medicine on the internet. This is dangerous. Dr. Carlos is an experienced doctor. He knows what he is doing. I know, my love, it's just curiosity. But even so, I think I'll stop by. I can go with you. Of course I wanted to go with me to control what I was going to say. You don't have to, honey. You've worked so much, you need to rest. No, I make a point. I can help you explain the symptoms to the doctor. He insisted so much that I ended up agreeing. But now I was absolutely sure I was right about everything. We arrived at the office at 4 in the afternoon. The receptionist greeted us normally, but I realized a strange look she exchanged with Amanda. Doctor, Carlos will receive us now? Amanda asked. Yes, he is waiting for you. Waiting? But I had not made an appointment. How could he be waiting for us? We entered the office and Dr. Carlos greeted us with that usual false smile. Roberto, how are you feeling? I'm fine, doctor. In fact, I'm feeling better than ever with the medicines you have prescribed. How great. And are you taking right? Every day? Every day, doctor. Including, I wanted to ask them a doubt. I saw Amanda make a discreet signal for him with his head. What doubt, Roberto? It's just that I searched the internet and saw that this medicine can cause some side effects in the heart. Dr. Carlos gave a forced laugh. Roberto, how many times do I need to tell you not researching the internet? Is the internet full of wrong information that only serves to scare people? But doctor, I read on various medical sites. Roberto, I've been a doctor for over 20 years. Do you think I was going to prescribe something that hurt you? His question echoed in my head like a sinister joke. Of course he was going to prescribe something that hurt me. That was exactly the plan. No, doctor, I trust the Lord. So stop searching bullshit on the internet and keep taking the medicine right. And if you have any problem, any different symptoms, call me immediately, okay? It's good, doctor. When we left the office, Amanda was visibly relieved. See just Roberto? I didn't say? Dr. Carlos knows what he is doing. Stop this internet paranoia. Paranoia. She was calling my discovery that she was being murdered from paranoia. That night, while Amanda slept, went to the computer and started researching more about Dr. Carlos. I was wondering if he had done something like this before, and what I discovered shocked me. There was an old case against him in the Regional Council of Medicine 5 years ago. A widow had denounced that he killed her husband with wrong medicines to stay with her and family money. The process was filed for lack of evidence, but the accusations were exactly the same as what was happening to me. I printed everything and kept in a folder hidden in my closet. The next day, I decided to do something risky. I called the widow who had made the complaint against Dr. Carlos. I got her phone on the internet. "Hello, Donacel, would you? My name is Roberto. You don't know me, but I really need to talk to you about Dr. Carlos." There was a long silence across the line. "What do you want to know about him?" she asked with a shaky voice. "Do you still believe he killed her husband?" "I don't believe it, I'm sure. Can I go to the lady's house? I think he's doing the same thing to me. Come this afternoon, but come alone and be careful. This man is dangerous." At 3 in the afternoon, he was at Donna Celia's house, a 65-year-old lady who lived alone in a small but tidy apartment. "Sit here, my son. I'll tell you everything that happened to my Joachim," and she told. The story was identical to mine. Joachim had begun to consult with Dr. Carlos because of the high blood pressure. Dr. Carlos prescribed a new and more effective medicine. Joachim began to take religiously. After 3 months, Joachim started to get sick, chest pain, shortness of breath, weakness. Dr. Carlos said it was normal, that it was the body adapting to the medicine. "And your wife, Donna Celia, how does she react?" "My daughter-in-law, Patricia, always supported everything Dr. Carlos said. She even fought with me when I suggested changing a doctor." "Your daughter-in-law?" "Yeah, Patricia was married to my eldest son, but when my Joachim died, I found that she was having an affair with Dr. Carlos over a year ago." My God, the story was repeated. "And after your husband died, Patricia inherited everything, the house, the money, everything, and 3 months later she married Dr. Carlos." I felt a shiver on my spine. "Donna Celia, do you still have the recipes of the medicines he gave to her husband?" "I have everything saved. Even after Joachim died, I had the drugs to analyze in a private laboratory. Want to see the result?" She showed me the laboratory report. The medicines that Dr. Carlos reaped to Joachim were not for high blood pressure. They were medications that, in high doses and prolonged use, caused a heart attack. "Why didn't you use this to prove it in the process?" "I tried, my son, but Dr. Carlos had many powerful friendships. Lawyers, judges, prosecutors, all of his patients. The process was filed and still tried to sue me for slander. Donna Celia gave me a copy of everything she had. Reports, recipes, photos, testimonials. Roberto, if this man is doing the same thing with you, you need to be very careful. He won't hesitate to accelerate the process if you think you have suspected." I returned home with my head was sealing. Now I had proof that Dr. Carlos had killed at least one person before, and the method was exactly the same as I was using me. When Amanda arrived at work, I was in the room pretending to watch television. "Hi, love. How was your day?" "It was good, honey. I even made a decision." "What decision?" "I'm going to do those exams that Dr. Carlos suggested. I want to do a full checkup." I saw her swallow hard. "Ah, good, but don't you think it better wait a little longer? Let the medicines take effect first?" "No, Amanda. I want to do it soon. I will even do with another doctor to have a second opinion." This time her reaction was immediate. "Another doctor? Why is Dr. Carlos not taking care of you?" "It's taking great care, but you know how it is. Second opinion is always good." "Roberto, this is not a good idea. Dr. Carlos can be offended, and besides, another doctor will not know his history. My history is simple, Amanda. High blood pressure. Any doctor can evaluate." She got nervous walking back and forth in the room. "Roberto, are you distrusting Dr. Carlos?" "Why would I suspect him? I don't know. You are very strange, asking weird questions, wanting to change Dr. Amanda, can I ask you a direct question?" "Of course. Do you trust Dr. Carlos?" "Of course I trust. He's an excellent doctor. And do you think he would never do anything to hurt me?" She stopped walking and looked at me with an expression I had never seen before. "Roberto, what is happening to you? Why these questions?" "It's just that I discovered some things about him, Amanda." The panic in her eyes was total. "What things?" "Things about his past, about other patients he treated." Amanda sat slowly on the couch as if her legs were bambus. "Roberto, what did you find out?" "I know from a patient who died taking the same medicines he prescribed for me." Total silence. "Amanda, did you know that?" "Roberto, people die for various reasons. That doesn't mean it was the doctor's fault. What if I tell you that this patient was murdered, with fake medicines, and that his wife was involved?" Amanda raised from the couch as if he had taken a shock. "Roberto, you are going crazy. What is this story of murder?" "The story is that I discovered everything, Amanda." "Discovered the what?" "That you are killing me." The silence that followed was deafening. Amanda got white as a paper and began to tremble. "Roberto, you can't be serious." "I'm more serious than ever in my life, Amanda." She tried to deny, tried to say that I was crazy, tried to convince me that they were just coincidences. But I had already seen too much, too discovered. "Roberto, you need to keep taking the medicines. If you stop now, you can have a stroke, a heart attack, or can I remain alive?" "Roberto, for God's sake, you're having a paranoid crisis. You need to take the medicines." That's when I realized that she wasn't going to admit anything. And worse, she was starting to come into despair. Amanda, I won't take these medicines anymore. You will take it, she shouted, with a fury that I had never seen in her. I am not going. Don't you understand? You need to take it. The way she screamed made me realize that I was in real danger. She was not just being discovered, she was seeing her plan collapse. Amanda, calm down. No, you'll take these medicines right now. She ran to the bathroom, took the pills, the new ones, which she didn't know I had already thrown away, and returned with a glass of water. Take now. I won't take it. Take now, Roberto. That's when she did something that shocked me completely. She tried to force the pills in my mouth, holding my face tightly. You will take these medicines, even if it is in force. I managed to get rid of it and run to the other side of the room. Amanda, do you go crazy? I went crazy? I went crazy? She shouted like crazy. You who are spoiling everything. Everything. At that moment, I saw the true Amanda. It was no longer the sweet and loving woman I knew. It was a desperate killer who saw his plan being discovered. Amanda, to that, let's talk civilly. There's no conversation anymore, Roberto. Either you take these medicines or what? Or I'll have to find another way to solve this problem. The threat was clear as crystal. If I didn't die the way she wanted, she was going to kill me otherwise. That night I locked the bedroom door and didn't even sleep a minute, because now I knew that my own wife was able to murder with her own hands. And worst of all, the next day she was going to tell Dr. Carlos, and the two would plan a faster way to eliminate me. That night, after Amanda's direct threat, I knew I had a few hours before she told Dr. Carlos. I needed to act fast, but it also needed to be smart. Two desperate killers were much more dangerous than I alone could face. At 5 in the morning, when Amanda still slept, I left home silently and went straight to Dona Celia's house. She opened the door, still in a robe, but when she saw my face of despair, she let me get in immediately. My son, what happened? You have a terrible face. Dona Celia, they found that I know. Amanda threatened me last night. He said that if I didn't take the medicines, he would find another way to solve the problem. She sat heavily in an armchair. I knew this was going to happen. When they realize they were discovered, they get desperate and can do any crazy. Dona Celia, I need help. Alone, I can't prove anything. It's their word against mine. Roberto, I'll help you, but you have to understand it's dangerous. Very dangerous. Dona Celia told me that after she filed her process, she never stopped investigating Dr. Carlos. She had discovered other victims, other suspicious cases, but no one ever wanted to speak out for fear or shame. But now we are two, my son, and two people can make more noise than one. She showed me a folder full of documents she had collected over the years, false recipes, altered medical reports, suspected death certificates. Dr. Carlos was not just a killer, he was a serial killer. Dona Celia, how are we going to use this? Who will believe us? I have a nephew, Roberto. He is a police delegate, retired, but still has a lot of contacts. He always believed in my story about Joaquim's death. It was the first time in weeks I felt a twinge of hope. Do you think he can help us? I'm sure. He's been waiting for years to get Dr. Carlos. We called Delegate Mario, Dona Celia's nephew, and he came to meet us the same morning. A 60-year-old man who has heard our whole story without interrupting. Roberto, what you are telling me is very serious. Qualified homicide, falsification of documents, illegal exercise of medicine. But do you believe us? I believe. And more. I was already investigating Dr. Carlos on my own. In the last 5 years, It was the doctor responsible for 6 suspicious deaths, all of married men, all with young wives who inherited everything later. My God, Amanda and I were not the first case. We were just one more on the list of victims of that monster. Delegate, what can we do? First, you'll have to pretend you don't know anything, staying normal at home, acting as if nothing had happened. Second, we'll set a situation to get them both in the act. Like this. You'll make an appointment with Dr. Carlos. You'll say you're feeling sick, you need to see it urgently, and we'll record the whole conversation. Mario explained the plan. I was going to use a hidden recorder and try to make Dr. Carlos confess something, but most importantly, Amanda went along, and in the recording, we were going to try to get her admitting the plan as well. What if it goes wrong? Roberto, you have 2 options. Risk this plan or die home in the coming weeks. Because one thing I assure you, after yesterday night, they will accelerate the process. I returned home at 10 in the morning. Amanda was in the kitchen making coffee, apparently calm. Good morning, love. Where did you go anytime soon? I went for a little walk. I needed to cool my head after last night. Roberto, about yesterday. I'm sorry. I was very nervous. It's just worried about your health. Liar. She was worried. Was her plan wrong? Okay, honey, but I want to ask you something. Whatever it is. I want to make an urgent appointment with Dr. Carlos today. I saw her swallow hard. Today? Why the hurry? It's just that I woke up a little bad. I think it's better to examine me. Evil how? Chest pain, shortness of breath, maybe it's the remedies. This time I saw a sinister glow in her eyes. Yes it may be. Let's call him right now. Of course, she was thinking I was starting to have the symptoms they wanted. Amanda called Dr. Carlos and got an appointment for 2 in the afternoon. During the telephone conversation, I heard her say, "Doctor, it's urgent. He has the symptoms we talked about." Symptoms we talked about. One more proof that they planned everything together. At 2 o'clock, we were in the office. I was with the recorder that Delegate Mario had given me hidden on his shirt. My heart was hitting tight, but not fear of death. It hit anxiety to finally unmask those two. "Roberto, how are you feeling?" Dr. Carlos asked with that fake smile. "Doctor, I woke up with chest pain and shortness of breath. I'm worried. This can be normal. Remedies sometimes cause these effects at the beginning of treatment. But doctor, 3 months ago I take these medicines." "Yes, but the body takes time to adapt completely." Amanda was sitting next to me and I saw that she was anxious. "Doctor," Amanda said, "isn't it better to increase the dose? To make a faster effect?" There it was. She was suggesting to increase the dose of the poison in front of him. "Good idea, Amanda. Roberto, I'll prescribe a slightly stronger dose and you'll take 3 times a day now." 3 times a day? But doctor, isn't that much? "Roberto, do you want to be good or not?" The cold way he said gave me goosebumps. "Of course I want, doctor. So you'll do exactly what I'm sending. Take the medicines 3 times a day, every day. And if you have any symptoms, anyone, you call me immediately." "What kind of symptom, doctor?" Dr. Carlos and Amanda exchanged a look. "Breast chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness, these things. What if that happens? Then we will adjust the treatment. Adjust the treatment. That is, kill me faster." "Doctor, can I ask a question?" "Of course. Have you ever had any patients who died taking these medicines?" The silence in the office was total. Dr. Carlos was serious, and Amanda was pale. "Roberto, why are you asking this?" "It's curiosity, doctor. Are these medicines very strong?" "Roberto, you are asking very strange questions lately." "Doctor, I learned of a case. A gentleman who died taking medicines similar to these." I saw Amanda make a discreet signal for Dr. Carlos. "Roberto, let me tell you something." "Doctor," Carlos said, completely changing his voice. "You are very worried, very anxious. This is not good for your pressure." "Doctor, I just want to understand." "You don't have to understand anything. You need to trust me and do what I send." The authority in his voice was almost threatening. "What if I don't want to take the medicines more?" "What do you mean you don't want to take? What if I want to stop?" Dr. Carlos got up from his chair and came close to me. "Roberto, you will take these medicines. It's a matter of life or death." "My life or my death?" The question came out of my mouth before I could think. "What do you mean by that?" he asked with a coldness, and it was afraid. "Nothing, doctor. I just find it strange for the Lord to insist so much for me to take medicine that makes me feel sick." "Roberto," Amanda intervened, "to these weird questions. Dr. Carlos is trying to help you." "Help how, Amanda?" "Being good." "Be good then, I only have high blood pressure." "Roberto, you have more things beyond high blood pressure," Dr. Carlos said. "What things?" "Heart problems. Problems that can kill you if you don't take the medicines." "What problems, doctor?" "The Lord never told me about heart problems, because I didn't want to scare you. But now can you tell me?" Dr. Carlos hesitated. He looked at Amanda, who made her head. "Roberto, you have a very serious arrhythmia. It can cause infarction at any time. What about the medicines the Lord has prescribed for arrhythmia?" "Serve." "Doctor, can I see my exams showing this arrhythmia?" Silence. "Roberto, why do you want to see tests? You don't understand any of that." "But I can show another doctor, can't I?" "No," Amanda shouted. "You can't look for another doctor." The way she shouted made Dr. Carlos herself scared. "Why can't I, Amanda?" Because Dr. Carlos knows your case. Another doctor won't understand." "Amanda," I said, looking into her eyes, "you don't want me to look for another doctor because you know another doctor will find that you are poisoning me." The silence that followed was deafening. "Roberto, did you go crazy?" Dr. Carlos said, but his voice was trembling. "I didn't go crazy. I found out." "Did you find out what?" "May you two are lovers, that you are killing me with fake medicines, and when I die, you will stay with my house and my money." Amanda started to cry. "Roberto, for that you're sick, you're hallucinating." "Amanda, I have evidence." "What evidence?" "The security cameras of my house. I saw you two kissing. I saw you planning my death." Dr. Carlos got white. "Roberto, you can't prove anything." "Yes, I know why. Because I recorded everything you said here today. I showed the recorder that was hidden on my shirt. Their reaction was of total panic." "You can't record a medical appointment," Dr. Carlos shouted. "I can, yes. Especially when the appointment is to plan my murder." Amanda got up from her chair like crazy. "Roberto, erases this recording now. I won't go out. Erase now." It was when the office door opened, and the delegate Mario came in with 2 police officers. No one will erase anything, he said. Amanda's face of despair and Dr. Carlos was the most satisfactory thing I've seen in my life. Dr. Carlos Silva and Amanda Silva, you are arrested for attempted qualified murder, falsification of medical documents, and gang formation. Amanda tried to run, but a policeman held her. Roberto, you can't do this to me. I'm your wife. You are my killer. Dr. Carlos tried to deny everything. This is a mistake. I'm a respected doctor. You are a serial killer, Delegate Mario said, and we have proof of at least 6 homicides. When the police were taking them both, Amanda shouted something that froze my blood. Roberto, do you think it's over? You have no idea what you did. There are very powerful people involved in it. People who won't like to know that you handed us. What people, Amanda? You will find out. And was taken handcuffed, shouting threats that echoed through the building's hallway. Delegate Mario looked at me with concern. Roberto, what did she mean by that? I don't know, Delegate. What powerful people? I don't know, but let's find out. Because, by the way, this story is much bigger than we imagined. That night I returned home for the first time in weeks feeling safe. Amanda and Dr. Carlos were arrested. I was alive. Justice had been done. But Amanda's words kept echoing in my head. There are very powerful people involved in that. What people? And what were they going to do with me now that I had destroyed their scheme? 2 weeks have passed since the arrest of Amanda and Dr. Carlos, and I thought I could finally live in peace. But her threat about powerful people didn't get out of my head. That's when Delegate Mario called me on a Tuesday morning with a serious voice from those who had discovered something very serious. Roberto, I need you to come here at the police station right now and bring Donna Celia together. Did something happen, Delegate? Yes, it happened, and it's much worse than we imagined. An hour later, we were sitting in the room of Delegate Mario, which showed us a folder full of documents. Roberto, Donna Celia, do you remember when Amanda shouted about powerful people involved? I remember, I said. I haven't been able to sleep well since then. Well, during the interrogation, Dr. Carlos ended up confessing everything, and the which he told is the appalling. Delegate Mario opened the folder and began to show documents. Dr. Carlos did not act it alone. He was part of a network of doctors who specialized in murdering rich patients so that the wives could inherit and then share the money with them. Donna Celia got white. A network? How many doctors? 7 doctors, Roberto, in 5 different cities. In the last 10 years, they have killed at least 34 men. 34 men. 34 destroyed families. 34 widows who pretended to cry in the funerals as they told the money inside. And who coordinated all this? Dr. Henrique Moura, renowned cardiologist, owner of 3 hospitals, member of the Regional Council of Medicine. Dr. Henrique Moura, I knew that name. He was a medical celebrity in the region, always appeared on television giving health interviews. Delegate, now what? Now, Roberto, you will help us to overthrow this whole network. Like this? Dr. Henrique doesn't know that Dr. Carlos was arrested. He thinks you are still running the plan to kill you. We'll use it. Delegate Mario's plan was risky, but it was our only chance to get the head of the operation. I was going to pretend I was dying. Amanda would pretend she was free, using a prison phone, and we were going to make an appointment with Dr. Henry to see how the progress of my murder was. Roberto, do you have the courage to do this? I have, Delegate. After all these monsters did to me, I'd do anything to see them paying. 3 days later, he was lying in a hospital bed, made up of the way he was dying, false chest electrodes, physiological serum on the arm, pale face of those who were in the last moments of life. Dr. Henrique arrived at 2 in the afternoon, accompanied by Amanda, who was in freedom and collaborating with the police in exchange for reduction of the sentence. He was exactly as I imagined, high, well-dressed man, with that air of superiority typical of those who thought it was untouchable. So this is Roberto, he said, looking at me like I was an object. It's him, doctor, Amanda answered, interpreting her role very well. How long yet? Dr. Carlos said a maximum of 1 week. Great. And the home documents? They are all in my name. When he dies, I will sell everything and share as agreed. I was listening to it all and feeling anger that gave me the strength to keep pretending I was dying. Dr. Henrique came close to my bed and held my wrist, pretending to check my pulse. Perfect. The heart is already very weak. Dr. Carlos did a good job. Doctor, Amanda said, can I ask a question? He can. How did you discover this method, doctor? Henrique smiled with a coldness that gave me goosebumps. It was by chance, my dear. 15 years ago, I'd been experiencing financial difficulties. My first wife was rich, but I didn't want to give me money, so I started to give her some different medicines. And it worked? It worked perfectly. She died of natural heart attack. I inherited everything and realized that she had discovered the perfect profession. Since then, I've gained more than 20 million rees with this method. 20 million rees, built on 34 deaths, Over 34 destroyed families. And no one never suspected? Never. I always choose competent doctors and intelligent women. And when the scheme is ready, everyone wins. Doctors get women and some of the money, women get inheritance and freedom. And I get my percentage. What a percentage. 40% of everything. It's fair considering that I coordinate everything and take the biggest risks. It was at this moment that the police were going to enter him, but Dr. Henrique said something that changed everything. Amanda, there's something I need to tell you. What is it, doctor? This Roberto here will be our last case in Sao Paulo. Why? Because I received information that the police are investigating Dr. Carlos. Nothing seriously, but it is better to take a break for a few months. My heart accelerated. If he suspected something, the plan could go wrong. What do you know exactly? Only a retired delegate was asking questions about him. One of Mario. Amanda pretended surprise. And is this dangerous? Not much. But by precaution, after Roberto dies, you will disappear from the city for about 6 months. I already arrange a new identity for you. What if the delegate finds out anything? Dr. Henrique was seriously serious. If he finds out, we'll have to solve this like this. Amanda, in the last 15 years, we have not only eliminated inconvenient husbands, we have also eliminated some people who have tried to disturb our plan. The blood froze in my vein. They also killed the people who discovered the ESC-EMA. How many people? 7. 3 delegates, 2 journalists, a nurse, and a lawyer. My God. Delegate Mario was in danger. I was in danger. Dona Celia was in danger. Doctor, what if this delegate Mario keeps investigating? So he will have a very sad car accident. It was at this moment that I couldn't pretend anymore. I opened my eyes and got up from the bed. You're monster. Dr. Henrique took the greatest scare of life. What the hell? You murdered 34 innocent men, and you still killed people who tried to do justice. Amanda shouted, Roberto, what are you doing? I'm doing justice. Dr. Henrique tried to run, but the doors opened and entered Delegate Mario with 5 police officers. Dr. Henrique Moura, you are arrested for gang formation, 34 qualified homicides, 7 murders of public authorities, and another list of crimes that will take all day to read. Dr. Henrique's face of despair was the most satisfactory view of my life. You can't prove anything. Yes, we can, Delegate Mario said, showing a recorder. You just confessed everything. When the police were taking Dr. Henrique handcuffed, he shouted at me, Roberto, you have no idea what you just did. You have destroyed a 15-year-old operation, and I am proud of it. I shouted back, there are more people involved. People that you will never be able to catch. We take it, Delegate Mario answered, and we started with you. In the following months, the police operation that was known as Blood Inheritance Operation arrested all 7 doctors on the network, 23 widows involved, and found a fortune of more than 50 million reais in hidden bank accounts. Amanda was sentenced to 15 years in prison, Dr. Carlos to 25 years, Dr. Henrique to 30 years. Dona Celia finally had justice for her husband's death, and me. I became the man I have always been. I sold my house, I couldn't live there anymore after everything that happened, and bought a simple little house near the beach. I went back to work as a bricklayer, but now with a different purpose. I began to give lectures in churches and associations on how to identify signs of domestic violence and manipulation. Marcos married Fernanda and gave me 2 beautiful grandchildren. Julia returned from the city where she lived to be closer to me. My true family came together more after all we went through. 6 months after the arrest of all involved, I received a letter in my new home. It was from a woman from Recife who had read about my case in the newspaper. Mr. Roberto, my name is Marisa. I am 35 years old and I was married to a 58-year-old man who died 2 months ago of natural infarction. After reading his story, I began to suspect the doctor who took care of him. Could you help me? Sincerely, Marisa Santos. I showed the letter to Delegate Mario, who was now my friend. We both knew what that meant. The network was larger than we imagined, but now we knew how to fight it. Today, 2 years after all that happened, I wake up every morning for being alive, grateful for discovering the truth in time, grateful for having the courage to fight, because I have learned a lesson that I will never forget. No matter how old you have, no matter how much money you earn, no matter what your profession is, in the end, what matters is your dignity. And dignity is not something someone can take from you. It's something you choose to keep even when the whole world is against you. Amanda tried to take my life. Dr. Carlos tried to take my health. Dr. Henrique tried to take my hope. But none of them managed to take my dignity. Because dignity is not what others think about you. It's what you know about yourself. I know I'm a working man, honest, who has always fought for what is right. I know I'm a father who loves his children, a grandfather who is proud of his grandchildren, a friend in whom he can trust. And especially, I know I'm a survivor. I survived childhood poverty. I survived the death of my first wife. I survived the betrayal of the second. I survived an attempted murder, and I will continue to survive, because men like me do not give up. Do not give up on the family. Do not give up justice. Do not give up on life. If you are listening to this story and going through something similar, be it betrayal, be violence, or manipulation, I want you to know something. You are stronger than you think. You deserve true love, not pretended. You deserve respect, not humiliation. And you deserve to live, not just survive. Trust your intuition. Investigate when something seems strange. Ask for help when you need it. And never, never give up fighting for your dignity. Because in the end, when everything passes, when the dust comes down, when justice is done, you will look in the mirror and be proud of the man who sees reflected. A man who does not or that did not surrender, that fought to the end. And that, my friends, that is worth more than all the money in the world. Today, when my grandchildren ask me about my scar, yes, the counterfeit medicines left a mark on my chest, I tell them, this scar is not of my weakness, it is my strength. It is proof that Grandpa survived a war and came out victorious. And when they grow up, I'll tell them the full story, so that they know that even in the darkest moments, even when everything seems lost, there is always hope, there is always a way out, there is always justice, and always, there is always a new chance to start over. Roberto Silva, 60 years old, bricklayer, father, grandfather, and survivor. This is my story, and she's far from being over.